Guys, I want to show you a clip from the Byron Scott podcast of him and Olden Polynice talking about the most gangster behaviors in the NBA that they have ever seen. You might be understanding the gangster part here, but just keep watching. You know, one of these behaviors I knew and one I've never heard of. So it's definitely important to keep watching. It's a special episode, a trip down memory lane, a tribute to the grit and toughness of old school NBA players. And let me tell you right now, what we're about to talk about is something you just won't see in today's NBA anymore. These stories are so rare, so unique, and so powerful that they remind us that the NBA of the past was a whole different animal. We're talking about the kind of players who didn't take games off, who didn't worry about load management, who didn't cry about minor aches and pains. They showed up, they fought, and they played like warriors. Now, before I dive into the details, let's set the stage. Today's culture in the NBA is all about highlight reels, stat padding, brand building, and yes, skipping games to rest. Meanwhile, in the era of Michael Jordan, John Stockton, and even Kobe Bryant, skipping games was unthinkable. These guys played every single night like it was Game 7. And they treated every game, every possession, like it was their last chance to prove themselves. And today we're going to talk about two of the toughest moments that define that era of basketball. John Stockton's shattered nose story and Kobe Bryant's legendary Achilles moment. Now, these stories are so inspiring. And let's be honest, they're so absent from today's NBA that it's almost laughable. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is The Basketball Show, where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, history, and more. All completely unbiased, even though some people disagree, because any opposing opinion to weak people is always hating. Truth is truth, and I try to stand by that. Here is the clip.
I got a Stockton
And he
story.
played tough.
Oh, yeah, I got a Stockton story. Stockton breaks his nose, shattered, like it's over here somewhere. And it's like timeout, blood. They stop the blood. The doctor comes over, like in the huddle, move it over.
Yep.
Stick the stuff in there. Horn sounds, he goes back out. And I used to tell people all the time, how many dudes today would ever dare go back out on that floor?
I can name them. That many. Kid Jay got to say that many.
And I can tell you the last guy.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
Dislocated finger, snap back in place.
Gary went like
this.
Knee exploded.
Gary was
walked
like
right back out.
ready.
Yeah.
Before he could answer, he popped it back in.
And the last one, tears his Achilles.
Yeah.
Shoots his free throws and walks out.
That's the man. That's
now,
the most
and I love
thing
Jason
ever.
Tatum.
That's the most gangster.
No, that's straight gangster. Because let me tell you why it's straight gangster. You watch him get up because he thought somebody kicked him, right?
Yeah.
Just like everybody who gets tear their Achilles. They felt like somebody kicked them or something like that. Got up, went to the free throw line. Before he even went to the free throw line, he had to walk out and all that. And then he walked back. You watch his face. There's no grimacing, no nothing. You can see disappointment.
He's like,
he was
he's
pissed,
disappointed.
Right?
He's like, damn.
And then I go to, and again, one of my favorite players in the NBA, Jason Tatum. Takes a step to go get the ball, pop. He's on the ground damn near dying. I mean, he's rolling around. You can see the agony. He's on a wheelchair. I was like, first of all, Kobe would never be wheeled out.
Nope.
Paul Pierce.
And you saying no names, but Kobe would never be wheeled out. Right? You know what I'm saying? This man, and B, you said it, the most gangster shit I've ever seen on the basketball, walks up, makes the two free throws.
Makes them.
Makes the
Key
two free
point.
and walked out. Didn't get somebody to help him. Now, of course, you got a torn Achilles. You ain't walking normal. He walked out. You will never see nobody in this league today.
And nobody went towards
that
him.
will walk out like that. You will never see that again. That's the most gangster shit I've seen.
He just had a smooth,
in the NBA.
He had a smooth 1973 limp.
Now let's talk about what we just heard. In the clip, they're talking about Stockton. Man, this guy was a warrior. Stockton was the kind of player who embodied toughness in every sense of the word. Imagine this. Stockton breaks his nose, and I'm not talking about a little scratch or a minor fracture here. I'm talking about a nose that's literally on the side of his face, like Olden Polynice said. Shattered and bleeding. Most players today, they'd be on the ground, rolling around like they just got hit by a bus, calling for a trainer, the team doctor, the towel boy, and their mama, okay? Whoever would come over and cuddle them. But not Stockton, no. They called timeout, stop the blood. The doctor comes over in the huddle. During that break, he moves the nose back in place. He sticks it back in place. And what does Stockton do? The horn sounds for end of the timeout, and he's back on the floor, he's back on the court. And I can't help but think, how many players today would even consider that? As they asked. And the answer is, as they said, none. That's not a knock on today's talent. It's a reality, it's a reality check on how the game has changed. And then you get the story of Kobe Bryant. Oh man, if you want to talk about the definition of toughness, Kobe Bryant is the gold standard. This is the guy who dislocated his finger, popped it back in himself, and kept playing. This is the guy who, when he tore his Achilles, one of the most painful injuries you can experience in sports, got up because he thought someone kicked him, walked to the free throw line, made both free throws, and then walked off the court under his own power. That's insane. Now let me repeat that. He didn't roll around on the floor, clutching his leg. He didn't call for a wheelchair, and he didn't need anyone's help. He walked on a torn Achilles. And the look on his face, pure disappointment, pure frustration, but not an ounce of pain on display. That's Mamba mentality. That's old school basketball. That's what made Kobe Bryant one of the greatest to ever do it. Compare that to some of the stars today. I'm not going to give you no names, but we all know who they are, who sprain an ankle and act like they're been hit by a truck. They're rolling around, flailing, grimacing, getting wheeled off in a chair like it's a war zone. And yes, I'm looking at you, modern NBA stars. You know who you are. It's not even just about playing through injuries, it's about playing every game like it matters. Michael Jordan had 9 seasons out of his 15 in which he played every single game. 82 games plus playoffs. The man never took a night off. Stockton, same deal. 82 games, season after season. The guy missed like 22 games his whole career. It's insane. And not once did you hear him, whine about load management or taking time off for rest or whatever. Just an example. Recently, LeBron James on his podcast with Steve Nash said that NBA players should have a month break before the playoffs start. A month. Think about that. In today's NBA, we have players who sit out because they played too many minutes the night before. We have load management schedules that are more complicated than some teams' defensive schemes. And let's be real, the fans pay the price. They come to see the stars play, and too often they get robbed because of players decided he needed an extra day of rest. And let's not even get started on the excuses. Stockton never had time for excuses. He was too busy playing defense, dishing out assists, and showing up every single night for his team. Kobe? He was too busy torching defenses, hitting clutch shots, and holding his teammates accountable. These guys weren't about excuses. They were about results. Now let's get back to the Achilles moment with Kobe for 1 second. When he got up after tearing it, you could see that look in his eyes. He wasn't in pain, at least he didn't look like he was. He was pissed off that he might not get back on the court to help his team win. That's the difference. That's what separates legends from the rest. That's why this episode matters. Because we're living in a time where that kind of toughness, that grit, is becoming a lost art. Now, those things show real mental toughness. Because with real mental toughness, that's the only thing you can use to get through those moments the way that they did. It's becoming a relic of a bygone era. And that's sad, because fans deserve to see that level of commitment. They deserve to see players who leave it all on the court, who refuse to let pain and adversity stand in their way. Now, sometimes I think today's NBA is so soft that a player's biggest injury is his pride. They don't want to look bad. They don't want to risk missing a highlight. And they sure as hell don't want to risk that next big endorsement deal, But back in the day, players like Stockton and Kobe, they didn't care about any of that stuff. They cared about winning. They cared about showing up, and they cared about their teammates and their fans. So yeah, Stockton's shattered nose, Kobe's Achilles tear, those are moments we'll never see again. And that's a damn shame. Because those moments made the NBA what it was, a league of warriors, of competitors, of legends. For kids and adults, those were real role models, showing toughness and perseverance, not to give up, curl up, and cry. Just deal with it. Today's players, maybe they need a history lesson. Maybe they need to watch some tape. And maybe, just maybe, they need to stop worrying about their brands and start worrying about their legacy. Because at the end of the day, what separates the greats from the rest isn't just talent, it's heart. It's toughness. It's that refusal to quit, no matter what. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So let's keep this conversation going. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about those two things and today's NBA compared to the days of Stockton and Kobe. Do you think we'll ever see that kind of toughness from players again? Or is it just gone already 100%? Has the game changed too much? If you enjoyed this episode, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and stay tuned to more real talk about the NBA. This is the basketball show where the truth matters and the legends live on. Thanks for watching. Signing off. I'll see you in the next one.